To Russia?
Well, I am standing here in St. Petersburg because we are participating in the Summit on Women and the Economy, which is part of APEC. This year, Russia is the host country, host economy for APEC. And over the last couple of years, the United States has worked to really get the issue of women and the economy on the agenda of APEC, starting in Tokyo when Japan was leading the APEC forum. And then last year we moved to San Francisco when the United States had the baton. And in San Francisco held the first ever high-level gathering of top government officials as well as private sector participants to discuss the topic of women and the economy. And in San Francisco, a declaration was adopted to really ensure that women-run SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, will be able to get started and grow and drive economic growth as they do in the United States and as they will continue to do throughout all of these economies. But first, several hurdles have to be met, and that's what we're here discussing. How much progress we've made, where we need to go, what some of the best ideas are, how to consolidate the good things that are happening, and generally how to move forward on the San Francisco Declaration.
Is this your first time in Russia?
This is not my first time in Russia. I have been pleased to come back here many times over the last several years. I came here the first time in '93 with President Clinton when I was Chief of Staff to First Lady Hillary Clinton at the time, and I remember that visit to Russia as though it were yesterday. I have studied Russia as a student, and so it's always with a great deal of enthusiasm that I return here.
What was it like working with Secretary Clinton?
Working with Secretary Clinton is always an inspiration. I started working with her in her White House years. I'd known her before then and worked with her on some projects earlier than that, but in those 8 years in the White House, and then now back again at the State Department, one can only be every day inspired by her commitment and dedication to making a difference every day in the best way possible to move the United States goals forward, the interests of the American people, as well as to help people all over the world. She is one of the hardest working people I think one can ever meet. She is a very optimistic personality, and she takes everything on with a great deal of dedication. And I think the fact that we are all here in St. Petersburg for this Women in the Economy Summit has a great deal to do with the leadership of Secretary Clinton, because she understands better than most that all of the data, research, evidence today points to the critical role that women in the economy must play if our economies are going to grow, if there will be greater economic opportunity, that jobs become a bigger reality. She got it, and she has absolutely been instrumental to working this through the APEC process, and particularly to bringing her leadership to the Women in the Economy Summit when it took place in the United States. And she made an extra effort to get here to Russia for this meeting this year, as the baton is now held by Russia. And she spoke at the assembly in St. Petersburg. One aspect of the assembly, one of the most formal parts, took place at Catherine's Palace. She was introduced by Mrs. Matvienko, and whom she had met earlier because, as the counselor explained, when Secretary Clinton was First Lady, she worked on the Vital Voices Democracy Initiative, which was a project at the time of our government. She led that effort to help emerging women leaders around the globe, including those here in Russia who were coming into their own as Russia became a market economy and a democracy. And so Matvienko was part of so many top Russian women at the time who came to a Vital Voices meeting with First Lady Hillary Clinton at the time in Reykjavik, Iceland. And Madam Matvienko remembered that yesterday when she met with the Secretary, as well as another meeting that they had together in White House in Washington when Mrs. Clinton was senator. So her leadership has been one that everybody writes about and talks about and is well known the world over. And she has certainly been an extraordinarily symbol for the United States, for the ideals that we hold so dear, and certainly to promoting progress for women and girls around the world, because as she so often reminds her audiences wherever she is, no country can get ahead if it leaves half of its people behind.
One final question, Madam Ambassador. You mentioned that her message is well known around the world, especially regarding women's empowerment. How is it being received?
I think by all indications, Secretary Clinton is one of the most popular figures in the world. It's as though she were an international brand that everybody recognizes. She is greeted everywhere with extraordinary enthusiasm. There are many who call her a rock star, but I think the reality is she is respected and admired for those values that she holds dear, for the leadership she brings, and for championing so many causes, particularly the role of civil society, the importance of democratic values, the importance of investing in women and not letting half of our population be marginalized. So I think it is not an overstatement to say that she is a world figure in ways that is not just about celebrity, but all about the kind of admiration they have for what she does and what she stands for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Am I done with you guys?
That was great.
Did I buy?
That was.
Did I buy?
Yes, you did fine. You did fine.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much.
Are you staying around?
We're gonna head out now and they're gonna go see their